and really, really fun. Really happy that this is taking a tournament setting.
Yeah, with only a few exceptions, most of the time saves in this game are very small and granular. And what speedrunning this game really comes down to is mastering the movement to just move through screens quickly, fluidly, without dying, without getting caught on stuff. And it just ends up being a really cool, fluid-looking run. Feels great to play, looks great to watch. So let's watch this race get started. And
buckle yourselves in. So if you put your eyes on any of our runners here, you're going to notice a whole lot of bunny hopping is being done. And that's because jumping gives us a small speed boost. And in the prologue, we actually don't have our dash until the end. So we use the jumping, the bunny hopping to gain a little speed boost in the air and in turn save only about a second. But for as optimized as the first few chapters are, it's good to save the time for sure.
Entering now into Forsaken City. All 4 runners are getting in there. And this is where the speed tech of the game really starts to come into play. We have the dash mechanics. You can get a lot of speed by dashing and then jumping, and that works either along the ground or off a wall if you're doing it vertically. And generally, the top runners, the more of these strats they incorporate into their movement, the better their time will get, if they can do it without dying anyway.
I'd just like to say right now that this is some of the crispest, some of the greatest sync I think I've ever seen.
It is great, isn't it?
So I'm not sure how many runners are going to use it here, but you're going to see a dash called a reverse hyper. I didn't actually catch if anyone did it or not. I was looking at...
I did see that Taggerson did it.
Yeah, I was looking at like trying to look at 3 different screens at the same time. Basically, any of the dashes you do in this game can be reversed if you basically hold one direction and then quickly switch to the other while still maintaining the down input, for example, for hyper dash. And it's only used in certain spots, and it's definitely something you have to be comfortable with to do because the inputs can be a little tight. But
yeah, it feels a little bit awkward. Luckily, it's only used in a few places, but it really helps in some tight spots.
You're going to see some neutral wall jumping here from Taggerson. Basically pressing the jump button and not holding the button towards the wall. Doesn't use stamina. So kicking off the wall without actually holding grab doesn't use any stamina. So our runners are able to climb that wall there and basically scale that entire room without using the zippers. And it saves a little bit of time.
Chapter 1 is over pretty quickly. And our runners will now be entering Chapter 2. It starts off with a little dream sequence here. Going down into this old site, this castle, and we're going to be activating the dream blocks pretty soon, which are some of the coolest mechanics in the game. Just very fun to play with. We'll be seeing those. Oh, we see them now on Taggerson's screen. He dashes through them. They're kind of liquidy. Shoof, like that. Anyway, good stuff. You get your dash back when you come out at the end.
And if you do make contact with a wall while you're still maintaining your dash through the dream blocks, you will die on contact.
Yeah, you don't want to get smushed.
So we'll see if Taggerson decides to... Yes, he does. That is a 3-pixel window to double diagonal dash. GreenDavideku takes the safer route for that, for sure. Definitely a really cool double dash there. And unfortunately, yeah. Davideku taking a death there as well in this room.
That skip is like just one great example of like all the different ways you can do this, because there's a slightly safer strat where you grab the wall first instead and climb up with it. It just takes like 1 second more time, but it's a lot safer. It still saves a little bit of time compared to the normal way. So there's just a lot of ways you can get through this, combining strats that you're comfortable with versus taking more risks.
This last room is very long, and there's a very large dream block at the bottom. And already, if you were paying attention to Taggerson's screen whenever he went through it, and paying attention to Davideku's screen when he just went through it now, you'll notice that there are a bunch of different ways to approach that room. And a lot of them are very impressive and very quick. You blink, you miss it.
We've actually gotten through most of the Spadalin chase without even mentioning what's going on. Basically, these players have been being chased by Badalin, who is sort of an antagonist, at least at the start. she's on a 3-second delay, sort of like Shadow Rayman, or I guess there are some newfangled examples of that in newer games. But yeah, getting through those rooms pretty quick. I think I see Linkforce just finishing that up now.
Scary, yeah, scary there at the bottom there. I was afraid he was going to run into battle in at one point, but he didn't. Makes it through just fine.
And many of our runners now on the left making their way through the Awake section, just very movement based. On the right, they're entering the Celestial Resort, which is Chapter 3. And
Chapter 3 is largely cycle-based, and you're going to see these little blobs with red trim. We call them dust creatures. These are the... I wouldn't call them enemies. I wouldn't classify them as enemies. They're more just obstacles that move on set cycles, and that's basically the name of the game for this chapter, largely.
I wonder if they sell Dust Bunny plushies. I would definitely buy one.
I would buy the heck. You look at. I mean, I know they kill you in game, but look how cuddly they look.
Yeah, right.
Can you imagine?
Just try to forget that they're the physical manifestation of someone's patheticness or whatever. We see on Taggerson's screen these lock switches. In rooms like that, you have to hit all of them in order to move some obstacle out of your way.
And these keys, they just follow you around. And if you die, they actually don't go back to their original location. They still follow you. And you're going to see a strat be used later on here in Celestial Resort that uses the fact that the keys don't leave whenever you die to basically skip a large section of a room.
Yep, do a little death warp.
And we do it again in the summit, and you'll see that. We'll talk about it when it comes.
On the right side, we see the huge mess. Very large, cluttered room. Lots of nooks and crannies to get caught on. Pretty difficult to move through it quickly. Green David and Taggerson doing a great job there.
So the ultimate goal of the huge mess section is basically to clean up the huge mess. And you'll notice, I don't know if we'll be able to see it again on Taggerson or Davideku's screen, but there is a key that's blocked off by all the yeah, it's right there. You can see it on Taggerson's screen right now. It is blocked off by all the books and the towels and the clothes. And basically by pressing 3 switches in these 3 sections of the huge mess, we get rid of the mess and also unlock the key. Sorry, I couldn't find my words. In turn, allowing us to progress farther in the chapter.
So these 3 sections for cleaning up the 3 different types of mess can be done in any order. We generally have a set route in the speedrun just because of the way Oshiro is positioned at the end of each one, and you need to talk to him. It's a neat little bit of game design here, actually, because as you clean up the mess, the other room has become harder to deal with because there's more stuff like floors and walls missing. So either way, either combination of the way you could do these rooms, the next set you do will be a little bit harder. So that's pretty neat.
Ooh, unfortunate death there at the end of that room for Taggerson. And if you do look at Taggerson and Davideku's screens right now, they are both like neck and neck, absolutely neck and neck. Oh, Taggerson's falling behind now though in this room. Ooh, unfortunate. It does happen.
Yeah, especially trying to get some of those cheeky cycle skips there.
So Davideku now going up the elevator shaft, which is inhabited again by our good friends, the Dust Creatures. This section is a little less tedious, I would say, compared to the huge mess section, but there are some long rooms, and they can be punishing if you die at the end.
Yeah, this room in particular that Davideku is in right now can be kind of a mess if you get it wrong. But he's through it fine. And now we have show off some wall bounces here. Yeah,
that's a very cool strat. It's actually harder than it looks, much harder than it looks. I don't do it. I don't trust myself enough.
We're going to see these 4 chained hypers here. Oh, it looks like he took it safe from the last one, but still made it. And there's that death warp we were talking about earlier. He grabs the key and then retries to die and teleport back to the start of the room.
So yeah, this unofficial race between Davideku and Taggerson is very, very close right now.
Yeah, it's great how that works out.
And this is another long room. Davideku taking a death there. That's going to lose him a bit of time.
All right.
This room is very finicky in some spots.
Taggerson is through. He has reached the presidential suite, and now he has to. You know, he's being chased on the rooftops by angry Yoshiro. Yeah, he's mad at you now. He wants revenge for, I guess, insulting him, calling his hotel a dump.
Except it wasn't really us. It was Battlein.
It was a part
That's
of you.
story though. That's story though. If you guys want to understand the story of this game, you can go play it for yourself. Celeste is a great game. It's one of the best games I think I've played this year. So.
Yeah, it's really great. I mean, we're not going to really see any story because all the cutscenes are skippable. Thank you, devs.
Yeah, this game was made with speedrunners in mind, and the devs have admitted to that. And I mean, that's why there's a file timer and chapter timer.
Ooh, all right, here we go. The last room of Oshiro. Once again, our unofficial race between Taggerson and Green David. Very close here.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
2 deaths. Synced deaths.
They're gonna approach this room. Sorry, apologize for the cough. That came out of nowhere. I am using push to talk too. That's embarrassing.
Wow, nice save there by Taggerson. Almost fell into the pit.
Taggerson and Davideku finishing this chapter like at the exact same time. That's crazy.
And actually, Linkforce and FCRacers, both now in the Oshiro section, they're really not that far behind.
They're not far. They're not far behind at all.
We haven't been spending as much time on them as we should have, I think. Doing well there. All right, so Green and Taggerson now entering Chapter 4. This is called Golden Ridge. So this chapter is pretty much just you versus the mountain, and we have these bubbles. They give you a little dash in midair. We have the clouds, which are like trampolines. We'll be seeing those very soon. And we see now on both of their screens we have the wind, which is probably the most iconic part of Golden Ridge.
The most ugly part of Golden Ridge as well at the same time.
Yeah, especially for those bit rates, right?
Oh, it hurts.
Ooh, swag there by Green David.
That
I think
was
that's a newer strat. I don't have that one yet in my own run. FC also now in Golden Ridge, and Linkforce getting pretty close to the end of Oshiro. He's in the last stream there.
Dashing and jumping off those clouds, as you can see, gives us a nice little boost. It's used in a couple spots in this chapter. Oh, Davideku taking a death on the spike jump there. Or the corner
I've
bump.
never actually seen that kill someone.
I've never seen it kill. I see people miss it, but like I've never seen it actually kill somebody. Couple of nicely timed wall bounces there.
I think both Green and Taggerson will probably be trying to go for an auto-scroller skip. All right. Taggerson gets it in one.
Oh! Davideku misses it.
So the auto-scrollers in this game are a little non-traditional. They are come in the form like these movie blocks you just have to wait for. But because of the momentum mechanics in this game, sometimes you can skip sections of them by, for example, in this case, using the momentum from the block to give an extra boost to your hyper jumps and let you skip some of that.
FCRacers and Linkforce both in Chapter 4 as well now. Linkforce the latest to enter it. Again, not far behind whatsoever.
Yeah, these guys are keeping up.
Davideku did lose some pretty huge time in that auto-scroller room, however. 2 or 3 deaths, I think.
Yeah,
let's put him behind Taggerson for sure. Actually, they're about 10 seconds separated in the in-game timers, so they're still pretty much even.
That's true. Yeah, it's worth mentioning that this game, the victory and defeat is decided by the in-game timer, which is what is being shown right now in the race, which does not run, by the way, in between levels. So kind of
it's
very accurate in between.
Very accurate.
You can tell exactly how many frames you missed your PB by.
My favorite gaming feature.
So Green David and Taggerson both now in the cliff face section, featuring very strong wind that's generally so hard that you can't even really progress without dashing or hyper dashing or some of those techs.
Yeah, and more or less just all of the mechanics together in this section, including some snowballs that attack, well, that are thrown at you basically by the mountain on set timers. I think it's about 4 seconds in between each of them. They approach you the same way Oshiro would, horizontally across the screen. However, they actually come from the other side, so they give you a bit less time to adjust to their trajectory. Sorry, if you're close to the right side of the room.
Yep. Linkforce skipping the auto scroller skip, but still by doing that, saved time over GreenDavideku because he didn't die. So again, showing that risk versus reward.
Good save by FCRacers on that screen. I just happened to look down and he missed the auto scroller actually right there, and was able to go back and get it against the wind. So that's pretty impressive.
Nice.
So Mirror Temple.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mirror Temple is largely, it's meant as a whole for the casual player to be a puzzle based kind of like you'll get lost if you don't know what you're doing kind of chapter, but it's definitely not that way in the speedrun. There's a lot of things that can be avoided and a lot of little pathways that we can take. For example, that strat that Taggerson just did, very interesting.
Rejected.
But he did not manage to keep his momentum enough to avoid that dash block. These dash blocks move, obviously, whenever you dash on them. They move across set little coasters, I guess.
Yeah, they're a lot like the traffic blocks from Chapter 1, but they move when you dash. So yeah, that really changes up how they're used.
A couple of well-timed upright dashes there to avoid the spikes on those walls, yet avoid them and head straight to the next red ball. These red balls are very similar to the green ones, except instead of just pushing Madeline the trajectory and length of a dash, they still go in all 8 directions. However, they only stop whenever they run into an object or they're dashed out of.
So Green David has just entered the mirror, which is where Taggerson is right now. So first you play as a Seeker for a little bit, just as a sort of tutorial of their mechanics. These guys are going to be enemies that are coming up pretty soon. They are probably the most aggressive enemy that we've seen, that you'll see in this game. They follow you around, they dash at you, they even track your movement as they're dashing at you, so they're pretty dangerous.
Very, very dangerous. And for some of the strats that our runners use, if they get even so much as to, a few frames at a position, the Seekers can really cause trouble.
We are going to be seeing some manipulation of these Seekers because they can be used to hit some of the lock switches that are needed to progress. So I think in the next room on Green David's screen, we're going to see that right now. Yep, he lets the Seeker charge at one of the coins while he grabs another.
It's worth being mentioned as well that these red platforms and blocks that you see can also be destroyed by Seekers.
That was huge screen on David's screen right there.
It was. That was very, very quick.
I believe that was a corner boost.
Chain hypers and a corner boost, yeah. Absolutely fizzing through this section. Very nice stuff from Davideku.
That is hot fire from Green David right there. He actually regained his lead there by executing this room so nicely. Taggerson is still right behind him though. And actually, Taggerson, oh yeah, so a little more than the lead it looks like, because Taggerson's in-game timer is a good 14 seconds ahead right now.
So here, Taggerson just did a dash into the wall and a kick off of it, which is basically a reverse jump dash. And that in turn skipped 3 minutes of this chapter. It might not look like it, but it did. Basically, you're supposed to search for 2 keys in that section, that very, very large section that we just passed by, to unlock a couple of keyholes and to take a red ball all the way across those spikes, or those blocks that kill us. But instead, we just, reverse jump dash over it and skip 3 minutes of the game.
Yep, it's pretty much like the iconic skip of Celeste. It's like the first thing you should learn if you're planning to speedrun.
I think it was the first movement-based strat that was actually found and used as well.
Cool. Oh, so we should mention Green David and Taggerson now in the Theo section.
Our good friend Theo.
Very technical movement here. Basically, you have to carry Theo to the exit of the temple now. The problem is he's in his heavy crystal. You can't actually dash while you're carrying him, but what you can do is you can throw him and then dash or hyper or whatever, and then catch him again, and you'll retain your momentum from before. So the movement here, adds a lot more complication considering you need to lug him around. Both of our runners doing a great job here that are on the Theo section.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually a lot harder to do the movement in this chapter than it seems. They're making it look pretty effortless, but I know that it took a while for my hands to get coordinated enough to do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of muscle memory that needs to be baked in before that can start to look natural.
But that was an incredible second half. Davideku started off that chapter 5 a little slow with a couple of unlucky deaths, but he really fizzed through that unraveling section, and from there on, it was all just cake.
Yep. Taggerson still coming up. He's almost done now with Theo as well.
I like interrupting people. Don't take it personally.
Oh, no worries, man.
It happens, I guess. So Davideku electing not to go for a leg skip. We'll see if we see it on Taggerson's screen. Basically, there is a corner that is not in the hitbox of a few of the spikes down along a wall down there, and we can actually dash out of the water and in turn again dash upwards, hit that corner, and basically kick off of that corner, avoid the spikes entirely, because these spikes hitbox aren't as large as the sprite themselves, so it's a bit deceiving for sure. But it's a very cool skip. It only saves about, I think, 7 or 8 seconds, and I think we're going to see it on Taggerson's screen here. First try. Nice stuff. Nice. Some more neutral wall kicking. Only a couple, actually, but still saves a good amount of time rather than doing that the correct way. And Davideku doing another strat there to hit that falling block and make it descend as the crush block is moving across the screen, therefore not stopping it, and it continues its trajectory all the way across.
FCRacer getting near the end of the Theo section, and Linkforce will be entering the mirror now. So, yeah, those differences in PB and skill are definitely, we're seeing the gap widening. It's fine. It's to be expected.
Yeah, it happened. I mean, that's the way it's going to be in tournaments, and for a lot of people, tournaments are really good experiences just to grow and just to become better runners. And I mean, putting yourself in a race environment makes you want to do that much better. So
yeah, I mean, just look at all the PBs that we've had in this tournament so far.
Oh man, it's
ridiculous.
Been ridiculous. And it's always exciting for the people watching as well.
Yep.
Whether the person is winning the race or not, are they on PB pace? If they are, cheer them on, kind of deal. And even if they're not, cheer them on. Cool little thing that Davideku just did with those bumpers there is that if you're facing away from them when you make contact with them, you actually get a larger boost than you would if you were facing them.
Yeah.
Not quite sure why it happens, but it happens.
I think it's specifically added by the devs. I remember they made a post about tweaking it somehow. Just one of those little ways in which the devs really designed this to be a speed game.
Very, very cool.
It only has like one use in the normal any % route. Maybe a couple more if you go the top route in hollows. It can be used in. I just saw a cool strat for it in for 6B though, for the B side for C6.
Yeah.
For chapter 6.
So Linkforce escaping that seeker section. He'll be moving on to the larger area here before he meets back up with Theo.
Nice save by FCRacer there. He misdirected a dash and almost went off the wrong way, but he managed to correct it without dying.
I didn't see that.
Ooh, a nice search skip by Linkforce there. Oh,
and
we just
there. Yeah,
nice battle and boost.
That's a lot of fun to do. Not only to do, but it's a lot of fun to watch because you look at that and you're like, oh, now he started the fight. How do you do that? Like, it's crazy. You blink, you miss it. Again, a lot of stuff in this game is you blink and you miss it. That's just how fast it is.
Yeah, I think that battle and boost in particular is pretty much the fastest that the player is going to get in the any % run without like really trying to do some weird stuff. You're basically it's a hyper off of the moving Kevin block, and then a bunny hop off of the moving Kevin block. So that Kevin block momentum gets added to your speed twice. I believe that's how it works.
Okay. This Battle End section is a lot of fun, not only casually, but for speedrunning purpose. It's definitely a different boss fight in terms of, there's no health bar or anything. You basically just hit her a set amount of times to advance rooms. Not much to explain here because most of this is just the same stuff, for about 2 minutes until we get to the second section of the Battle End fight, where things start to change a little bit. You'll notice that blocks are falling from the ceiling here throughout this section, and that's actually a mechanic that gets changed in the second phase, if you will, of this fight. Only slightly, though.
That's an unfortunate death from that Green took earlier there, because he had to do that slow early part of the room that he managed to miss the first time.
Yeah, there are a lot of strats where you're going to see runners carry momentum from a different room, and if you do die in the room and you're not able to actually get the strat correctly, it can cost you a bit of time. Because then you have to have a backup strat as well, and if you don't have a backup strat, then it takes the time to, switch back to the last room and then transition again. Unfortunately, which is impossible during the Battle End fight. When you're in a room, and you're stuck in that room until you finish.
Right. Something Revolution just mentioned in chat, which I feel may be worth just saying, is that we kind of made out the Battle End boost to be this major strat. The truth is, it really isn't that hard to pull off, and a lot of the strats in this game are like that. They really are a lot of the times easier than they look, and people should not feel intimidated by them. I mean, new speedrunners could easily, with just a few hours of practice, just getting the basic mechanics down, learn tricks like that.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt. They're just really fun to watch and really fun to do. And they save time at the exact same time, so it's like a win-win situation.
Green David is now in the final Battle End fight room. Let's see.
That's unfortunate. Yeah. This room is very, very long, and taking a death in it can be pretty unfortunate. It also changes the cycle of Battle End's lasers compared to when you enter the room, because they trigger on movement. But
whoa, that ultra
has no problem with it. That was a cool ultra as well. Good stuff.
So Green David just leveled up. So the main conflict of the story is resolved now, and you have been united with the part of yourself that you've been fighting, and now you have 2 dashes you can use in the air before you have to land. So a lot of that movement is going to open up in this next final chapter.
It makes up for it makes for some really, really ridiculous strats in some rooms as well with the 2 dashes. Definitely a lot more creativity, and through the summit you're going to notice a variety of strats that are different from runner to runner. Like I said, it's across the entire game. You see different strats in certain rooms, but it really shows prominently in the summit.
So a brief overview on the summit. Essentially, for chapters 1 through 5, you've been climbing a mountain. In chapter 6, you get knocked all the way back down to the bottom, to even below the bottom. And now, chapter 7, the summit, the final chapter, you basically, with your newfound powers of friendship and stuff, self-actualization, you climb your way all the way back to the top of the mountain, going through all the chapters that you've done before. But of course, the chapters are new levels designed for your double dash.
Yeah, so most of these rooms are accustomed, to only be able to be completed with 2 dashes.
I just saw an interesting map mod where it's basically the chapter 7 B side, but you only have 1 dash.
Is it possible? I mean, I guess
some of the rooms had to be changed to make it possible, but a surprising number of the rooms can be done with a normal layout. It's really nuts.
It's crazy.
So Green David finishing up the Chapter 1 section of Summit. You see at the end of each section, she's gonna be hitting these purple battle line orbs where she boosts you up, and you hit a few of those, and eventually you get boosted up into the next section of the mountain. And Taggerson actually right behind him, pretty much, just behind by. Oh well, I guess taking the IGT into account, he's still. Well, I mean that's not really the race that's happening anyway.
Yeah.
All right, FCRacer finishing up the battle line fight. He's leveled up, so he'll be finishing up Chapter 6 very shortly. Linkforce having some trouble there, but he gets through.
It's really hard to commentate on this stuff. It's really mesmerizing how fast the summit can be done by some runners. You're going to see Taggerson. I think he tried to hyperdash out of that block, but he wasn't able to do it, and he's also struggling a little bit. Oh, that was a very cool save from Taggerson.
Very nice. This is a long punishing screen on Green David's right now. This is
you took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was about to say.
Let's see if he's going to get that triple ultra.
Yes, he can. Got stuck on the wall there at the end, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Linkforce going for the that crystal skip. I wonder if he's going to hit the checkpoint first. No, he's not.
Oh, nice.
He got it. Very nice.
Very good stuff. That is actually developer intended, by the way. Those pathways are there, to be able to do that section faster.
Yeah. There's actually a similar skip that I haven't seen very many commentators mention in Chapter 2. It's a cheeky little hidden passageway that's just
in the last room of the chase.
I really love how that was added.
And fun fact, it actually wasn't in the first release of the game. It actually got added in to make a strawberry easier to get.
Ah, interesting.
Davideku now in the Chapter 4 section of the summit, 2,000 meters, where the wind makes its grand return, and in this room, so do the snowballs. And a very crucial auto-scroller skip coming up on Davideku's screen as well. Sorry for interrupting you.
Cool. Oh, no worries. Just trying to follow too many things going on.
I'm Canadian. I say sorry a lot, so just, get used to it.
Sure. Oh, here's that auto-scroller skip you were just talking about.
It's an extended hyper off this block. You carry your momentum far enough across to basically skip the entire room, and then there's a wall kick off that corner there, and the room's done. Just like that.
Yeah, nailed it. It's a funny little wall bounce at the end. It doesn't really look like it should be possible, but it is.
Another strat that's pretty intimidating. It's not that hard, but I would say it is harder than the Battle and Boost for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks to the extended hyper.
Not even using these moving blocks, except for that last one, just for a second.
Yeah, fun fact about these moving blocks and a few of the others, or just one other that I think of actually right off the top of my head, the zipper blocks in Chapter 1. They're only activated when you actually land on them or grab onto their sides. They don't actually activate if you just kick off of them neutrally without grabbing or landing on top of them.
Oh, something interesting I learned not too long ago is that even if you grab them, they won't activate as long as you're actually moving upward at the time, which is why sometimes you'll be able to get that without activating them, even though you're grabbing them.
That is true. Actually, I should have known that because that happens to me all the time in Chapter 4.
Yeah, I mean I've seen it happen a lot. I just never knew the exact mechanic behind it until recently.
Here's that second key skip we were talking about. That was the first try as well from Davideku. Good stuff. And he retries to spawn back at the bottom of the room. Doesn't save as much time as the one in Chapter 4, or in Chapter 3 rather, and but it does still save,
the
enough time to do it.
Yeah, the intended route is to go into the room below and take a red bubble up. So by getting that key skip within a couple tries, definitely saves a few seconds there.
No door skip from Davideku. Oh, he went for the
Ooh,
second one, but he
tried
didn't
to
get
go
it.
for that.
And he tried. Oh man. Okay, there's one. There's two.
You
Got
did
it on
for
about the
fans.
third try. I think he realized halfway through, he was like, oh no, I'm not doing door skip. I should probably do it.
Oh, and now Taggerson with door skip part 1
Nice,
and
first
part
try.
2,
Good stuff.
closing that gap a little bit between our unofficial racers here.
by about a second. Oh wait, no, more than that because Davideku missed it a
Right.
few times. Right, I get it. I'm sorry. The joke about that strat is that it only saves about a second, and that for the longest time, only like the top runners did it, so it was like a huge meme because it only saved a second. And
yeah, I
guess the
think
meme
at
still
the start
stands.
they would like not go for it, and then chat would get up in their case for not going for it, and then it just kind of snowballed as memes do.
So here we're going to see actually a downdraft section. So this is wind, except it's pushing downwards. It basically, I would say mostly it just intensifies gravity. It's basically intensifying gravity, and there's an updraft section as well, which kind of feels a little bit more like zero gravity. So, and it's definitely opinion based on which of the two is harder or more tedious in my opinion, for sure.
Yeah, both of them are difficult in the sense that they change the basic mechanics that you've been using the entire game, so it's something to get used to.
Yeah, it's one of the only instances actually in Summit where you're going to see a mechanic that you haven't seen earlier in the game.
Linkforce just finished the battle line fight, so he'll be finishing up Chapter 6 pretty soon.
Good stuff.
And we see
FCRacers
electing not to take the auto-scroller skip. He did do that
does
little
get the
wall bounce at
corner
the
jump
end
there, though. Yep. The wall boost, sorry. The wall jump, whatever it's called. I'm losing track of
Whatever we're
my
calling it.
words.
Vertical hypers. Okay, so both on the right side, GreenDavid and Taggerson are in updraft, so they have that decreased gravity, bigger jumps, floaty or falling. Getting almost through it now.
Also,
so you might have noticed these flags.
oh
those
my
are
goodness,
checkpoints.
you did it
They
again.
count
You
down.
just took the words right from my mouth. That's incredible.
We're like, I don't know, what are two things that go well together?
Peas in a pod.
Sure.
I think that's the saying. We're like two peas in a pod. Great minds think alike. I think that fits better.
Sure.
But apologies, I totally cut you off. You can continue your explanation now.
Oh, just saying that, they're checkpoints, whatever. You can hit them, you can not hit them. If you don't hit them, you don't get the checkpoint, though, so beware. Do it at your own risk.
They basically replace screen transitions, and some of them, like you said, are optional. As now, Davideku cleaning up the summit, finishing this thing off.
Yeah, it's cool how these enormous rooms in 3,000 meters really kind of give a sense of scale to this mountain that you're finally trying to summit. Very nice GG, GreenDavid.
Good stuff. We'll see at final time when he
his
comes back
IDT
into the game.
timer was ahead, so I think we can go ahead and mark it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 34:46.
Very nicely done. Does that say 30 deaths? It's a really good time
yeah,
for 30
that's-
deaths.
That's 30. Oh yeah, that is. And Taggerson finishing up as well now. Not very far behind with a 35:44. Like you said, an unofficial race, but still a lot of fun to watch both of them.
Yeah, that was great. Great runs by both. On the left side now. Oh, let's switch the audio over to FCRacers.
Yep. Going for door skip? I think he was trying,
Only going
but
for it once.
yeah, that's exactly what I would do.
Yeah,
except,
I did the same.
yeah.
You gotta try it
once.
for the fans.
Exactly.
Try it
You know
for the
you're
fans,
you're
but don't
racing
let
in front of
your-
a bunch of people, right? So you gotta
Yeah.
try it at least.
But don't let it ruin your run at the same time, right? FCRacers entering 3,000 meters. Trying to remember what his PB is. I want to figure out if these folks are on pace. Let me just take 15 seconds off mic to check on that.
Yeah, go ahead. Not really much to explain here anyways. It's mostly, I mean, it is not mostly. It's definitely the same stuff we've already seen. But
so according to speedrun.com and chat, FCRacers PB is 40:48. So we could be on pace for a nice PB from him in this race.
it's going to have to be a pretty good 3,000 meters, however, for sure.
True. I don't think we can rule it out yet, though.
Oh, no, definitely not. No, it's still possible, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, since that's a high 40 that he's fighting against, I think very possible. And let's see, for Linkforce. According to speedrun.com, Linkforce's PB is 54:49. So we could be seeing a PB from him too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope I didn't miss a PB that already happened. Taggerson did not PB, right?
I honestly have no idea. I looked at his splits and I saw golds and greens, and I'm nervous now.
All right, let me see if we missed some hype. SR.com says 37:17.
Then I think he did PB in a race, one of the races earlier this tournament already.
Right.
But I'm not sure what the time was.
All right, I guess we'll just have to see what he says. Sorry to tag if you got a PB and we missed the hype on that.
We apologize.
Because if you were racing against the 37, getting the 35 is huge. Nice save by FC there. Nice cutscene script, checkpoint skip.
Going.
A lot of runners take that one.
Oh, that's an unfortunate death, and I think that death probably, yeah. I don't think PB is going to be viable for him anymore, unfortunately. It will be very close, though.
Yeah, let's wait a little bit longer to call time on that one, but
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I think you're probably right. I wonder if he took a look at the clock on the upper left and got a little flustered.
It happens. I know firsthand. Oh, unfortunate death again. So yeah, PB is definitely not viable anymore. Still a great run for him nonetheless. Coming back close to a PB in a race, in a tournament, you know, that's being restreamed in front of people it's nerve-wracking, so...
Yep.
And that's actually a very difficult jump in between those spikes there. Harder than it looks, at least, in my opinion, that he just did.
Yes. Agreed. All right.
As he will clean up it as well.
Yep. Checkpoint 1 is kind of nice and calm. It's sort of the, I don't know, denouement. What do we call it?
He did almost die, which was why I gave the reaction that I did, but he didn't, and that's what counts. 41-12, final time for FCRacers.
Very nice.
Good stuff from him.
GG.
And now we turn our attention to Linkforce. All eyes are on you now, my friend.
Getting through 2,000 meters. really showing off the different strats you can do. You know, not everyone has to be TGH. You can do a mix of casual and speed stuff, whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly.
Slowly
And
mixing the speed stuff as you learn.
that's mostly what I meant by the whole, there's a variety of different strats for different rooms. And it really just, it depends on what you're comfortable with. And the more comfortable you get, the more your strats evolve and the faster your time gets. I mean, that's the way it is with almost every speed game.
Yeah, but that feedback loop is really gratifying in this game.
Absolutely.
To see that cycle of dying less, improve your strats, die more, die less, as your time keeps improving.
Oh, unfortunately didn't get the dashes back there from that wave dash. Also, I don't think we touched on wave dashes at all. We were more talking about hypers and extended hypers and all that good stuff. Wave dashes are just a hyper dash in the air. That's basically all it is. You dash into the ground, and sometimes, I mean, not all the time. It depends on how long you wait to press jump, whether you get your dash back or not.
Yeah, I think if you're not running yourself, it's maybe not so essential to know the distinctions, but I mean, yeah, there are a lot of different like little variations that you can do with the dash jumps and stuff. Like there's a crouching one called a hyper where you get a lot more horizontal distance and speed, but less height.
Going for the door skip.
Yeah.
Gets the first one on the second try. Gets it on the second try. That's great stuff from someone for with a time that's as high up the leaderboards as he is. His is. I cannot speak English. I apologize. It's a hard language.
You're all good, man. Yeah, doing it for the fans.
Tournament brings out the best in all of us, doesn't it?
I'm thinking maybe. I'm torn because I don't want to take hype away from the 3,000 meters, but I also want to have time for these post race interviews.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Not sure how much time we have.
Probably, we probably have like, I don't know, 9 minutes maybe. I'm not actually sure what's next up on this channel if there's anything. Assuming that Linkforce's SR.com score is up to date, should be really big PB from him.
Large.
Kind of makes me wonder if he hasn't had an intermediate PB in the meantime, because that's a huge jump.
It is indeed. I remember a lot of big jumps whenever I first started running, for sure.
Yep, and they got a little slower to come as you improve.
Yeah, they deteriorate until you decide to learn more strats. That's the name of the game. Unfortunate death there in that spring room, and yeah, I do believe just off my instinct, we probably should move Taggerson and Davideku in here and get them in for a quick interview.
All right, let's do it. If they're
just to be safe,
if they're willing and able. Linkforce finishing up the downdraft section.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Taggerson.
Congrats on both of you guys.
Thank you.
Congrats to both of you guys. Sorry, not on both of you guys for winning your races individually and respectively. But I must say the unofficial race between you two was very, very exciting to watch.
I'm glad. I try and keep those unofficial races as exciting as I can.
Which is good. It's good for the mental mindset too, because I mean, it puts you in the mood to you want to do better than someone who has a good time, and in turn makes you, like as you said, so many back-to-back PBs for yourself in this tournament so far.
Yeah, I'm happy with what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
So, how do you guys feel about the run?
I want to say it was kind of bad, but yeah.
You definitely had your
Yeah.
moments where you were struggling there, but then you had some moments of just sheer brilliance. I mean, that Theo section was really something else.
My tempo was actually like super on pace, but the Theo section ruined it. I was gonna be like sub 430 probably, and it's probably the stage I'm the
Yeah,
most
you had
happy
a
with in
you had
this
an
run.
insane pace going
Your
actually.
unraveling strats are just a joy to watch. Like
Yeah.
I
I
think
gotta.
that's the part I was
I'm
thinking
gonna have
of.
to go back
Apologies.
in the VOD tomorrow and watch that unraveling. If Revo says it's amazing, then you can only
It is.
expect some good stuff out of that.
Yeah, it was kind of good. Also-
Only a little good.
everyone has different standards.
But yeah.
Linkforce opting to get that safety checkpoint there. Totally understandable.
Oh yeah.
Is he gonna get the flag 8 checkpoint? Oh yeah.
I'm not going to say anything about the pace. Nothing. Commentator's curse is a sin.
Yeah.
And so far every race I've commentated has has at least had one instance where I've cursed the players, so I just don't want that to happen.
You're not supposed to curse, man. Haven't you read the speed gaming rules?
I know, I'm very sorry. Look at what's happening. This is my fault. You see this? This is my
no.
fault.
Oh no.
No.
This is my fault. Linkforce
So,
has got this.
how far have you guys gotten through your group matches?
Only done 2.
I've done 3 so far, so I have math
4 more to go.
5, 4, whatever.
4, I
number.
guess. Have you done 3? Yeah.
Depends on how many people are in your group.
I
too,
have
'cause
8.
I did hear that some have 7 now because of dropouts and whatnot.
Okay.
There
now
you go.
that,
Linkforce.
now that you're a
finishing
little
up.
more... oh, sorry. Very nice.
Yeah, then I have 5 left.
That is a sub 50. I can safely say it now.
Ooh,
Thank goodness.
nice
That's
job,
what I was gonna say. I
Linkforce.
was like, this is sub 50 pace, but I didn't want to blurt that out in case, I've commented first. But 48.98.
Nice. Yeah, Link's killing it, dude.
Very good stuff. Very good stuff.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to find out that that's a pretty substantial PB.
Yeah, I think his PB is, if I'm not mistaken, in the 54 range.
Wow, that's big then.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he has a
that is-
really big PB.
Yeah.
All right, he's gonna want to show that title screen probably.
Oh yeah, get on that, Link.
So now that you guys have done a few races, you noticed? Have you noticed your tournament nerves dying down a little bit?
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah. For my first race, I was really nervous in the first 3 stages, but now it's totally gone down.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Good. I
The
noticed the
nerves,
same thing.
yeah, they're definitely still there. I don't think they're ever gonna die down. You'd have to be
I mean,
something else to not have any nerves for this, to be honest.
A robot,
But
maybe.
yeah. But
Maybe a bit
compared
better
to the
at,
first
dealing with
race, I'm not shaking like I was the first time I ran. I was shaking the entire time through, and now I'd say the shaking has stopped. I'm still a little nervous, but it's a lot better now.
It's also very, very difficult when you're jittery in a game like this because
Oh,
just
yeah.
the slightest mistap can make a big, big mistake.
Oh, it looks
For
like
sure.
we have Linkforce in here as well. If he wants to unmute and join us, I don't know if he has a mic or if he can do that, but he's certainly welcome to, as well as
Oh, he doesn't have
FCRacer.
a mic.
Okay, that's fine then.
Oh well.
Anyway, you can hear us though, so GG, man.
Yeah.
Great.
Good stuff,
Great
Link.
race.
That's a good PB.
Great PB, indeed.
good job, man.
This is where we need text to speech.
2 minute.
Oh,
PB,
2
by
minute,
the way.
2 minute
Okay.
PB is huge. That's really
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really
that's
good.
great.
I remember the great good old days when I could PB by 5 minutes.
All right. Well, do we have
Oh, yeah,
enough?
that's where the good days.
We do have FC Racer in the chat, so we can talk to him for maybe 30 seconds.
Okay,
before we
cool.
Yeah,
wrap this
drag
up.
him in real quick.
So now, do we have a 10 o'clock going on, or is it on a different game?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But we can wrap this up pretty quick anyway.
Yeah, got it.
AFC, GG on the race.
Thank you.
Great run.
Good race to everybody.
Hey, good stuff, FC.
FC.
Yeah, there were definitely. I had some very good sections going in. I kind of wish that I kind of fell apart in Summit, but I think I could have PB'd, but I kind of just took a few hard deaths there.
Yeah, we saw you get pretty close to that PB. You were definitely on pace. We were wondering if you maybe had glanced at the timer on the top left and got a little flustered.
No. For the most part, I usually try not to look at the timer because if I do, then I'm like, oh, I start like overthinking it. Like I even on my monitor for live spit, like I moved the timer all the way to the corner, so like I just don't have it in my sight. I think I took a few risks, and I definitely missed the second big room in 1500. I made a few mistakes there as well. So, but overall, I mean, like I'm actually really happy with my Mirror Temple with the 1 death. And also, I was really happy with my battle and fight as well.
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff in that run, regardless.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I definitely saw some nice saves on your side too.
There were some
improvisation and stuff.
clutch moments for sure.
Yeah, I've definitely learned that in being improv savvy is definitely helpful for this type of game. So definitely pulled a few things out of my hat to save some sections.
Very good stuff. Very good stuff.
So I think that's pretty much it for us. Unless
This
anyone
sort of
has
wraps
anything
up.
else to
We are
say.
out of time.
Closing thoughts.
Fun.
Celeste's grid.
GG's.
Like this game.
Watch more Celeste runs. Watch more speed gaming channels.
Linkforce
Follow the
says I am
runners.
shaking.
Follow
as
the
well.
commentators.
Follow everybody, the organizers. Follow Speed Gaming, all 6 of their
GG,
channels.
Link.
Yes.
You did
We know
great,
you
Link.
want to watch speedruns.
Oh yes, watch more speedruns.
Please.
Yay.
Makes the world go around. Anyways, yeah, that's about it.
See you
I
guys.
guess we'll close
Thanks
things
for
off
having
here. So
us.
thanks everyone for a great race, and thanks to Speed Gaming for allowing us to do this. And we will catch you, if you do watch again, some other time in the Celeste tournament, because there's lots more to come. But that's it from me and Berto. GG's to everybody.
Thank you.
Peace.